Welcome everybody. I'm Marilyn Wilson. I am the author of Life Outside the Box, The Extraordinary Journey of 10 Unique Individuals. I'm happy to welcome you back tonight. Recently I did a 4-part series with Julie Salisbury of InspireATalk and Influence Publishing, and we covered all the webinars and workshops to help authors write their book and get it to publication. And in looking over things, we realized we missed one of the new services she offered. It pairs with what she's doing right now. It's a companion, but it helps take authors from publication and onto stage. And so we're here tonight to talk about her info talk sessions. So I know nothing about these, so I'm with you on this. So she's going to fill us in. So please share a little bit about how you came to create these info talks and what are they?
Okay, so, well, as you know, last October I did a TED Talk.
Yeah.
And the experience was really enlightening. It was not what I expected at all.
Mm-hmm.
And from that experience, I realized that I could definitely help other people to get a TED Talk.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's one thing to be inspired to get on the stage and do a talk, you know, either to a small group or even at an event. But to actually do a TED Talk is that's a big credibility piece.
Yeah.
You know, TED has a really amazing reputation. And after going through the process, I can understand why.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot of commitment.
It was a lot of challenge. I mean, I know I'm with you. How many rehearsals did you have? How many?
Yeah, a lot. Like we were, gosh, I think probably 10 rehearsals, and then obviously lots of time in between. And in fact, some of the TED platforms ask for you to actually make a commitment to 200 hours of training.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Some of the bigger ones?
Some of the bigger ones, yeah. So, I mean, I don't think people realize that when you get accepted to be a TED speaker, they're going to be coaching you.
No, I honestly didn't know that. That was a big surprise for me. Okay.
So what I realized was, you know, what we're trying to do here is get the TED Talk. We're trying to get the opportunity. And so there are many people, you know, speaker coaches that are helping people to, you know, how to give a better speech.
Yes.
And that's not what I'm going to be doing. I am not going to be helping people how to deliver a TED Talk. I'm going to be helping people how to get a TED Talk.
One of the really interesting things, and I think we've all heard it, but I don't think it ever hit home till we talked about it, is what TED Talks are looking for, because I see such a big variety out there. So what is it that you help with at the start? It's TED Talks is what?
TED Talks is an idea worth spreading.
So is that the main focus of what you start with?
Yes, that's absolutely what I start
Okay.
with. So I actually do it in, similar to the InspireATalk workshops, I do it in a mastermind process, because we really need to talk through our ideas to actually really zone in on, is that actually an idea worth spreading?
Yeah. I want to stop you for a minute, because there's a term that gets thrown around, and as you get into the system you begin to understand it, but I found it really confusing, and I still do sometimes. What does the term mastermind mean? Like, for anybody who hasn't been going through these kind of courses, when somebody says a mastermind, I don't understand what that means. You've got workshop, you've got this. What is a mastermind?
It's a really great question. You know, a mastermind is when a group of people come together and the ideas from one another sparks ideas and helps people to then explore those ideas, but not just on a one-on-one as you would in perhaps a normal kind of facilitation workshop where you've got one facilitator and then the students are listening to the facilitator. Right. A mastermind is where the facilitator's holding the space, but what we're actually encouraging is the whole group to discuss each person's project. So then you're actually not just getting the perspective of one person, i.e. the facilitator, you're actually getting the opinion and perspective of, you know, 8 people. 8 is a really good sort of mastermind number. And usually when I do mine...
Is it the magic number?
It's the magic number. Well, because, it's like if you have too many people in the room, then nobody, some voices are not heard.
Yes.
So, but the thing is with TED is that we might think we have an interesting story, right? But the thing with a TED pitch is, how do you turn that interesting story into an idea that is worth spreading? So the idea with TED, and this is why they're so successful, is that they want to be able to take a concept that the speaker is actually influencing the audience. So that at the end of a talk, the audience then wants to go out and have a conversation. It's almost like a conversation starter, right? And that's how an idea starts to spread. And the concept with TED is that basically, even if the audience is small, because some of the TEDx audiences can be, 50 people, but the concept is that then that is put on video and goes on the TED YouTube station, which potentially then will reach millions of people. Yeah. I mean, the #1 talk, I think, has had 65 million views. Wow. Yeah, so that's an idea worth spreading.
Yeah. So who do you think will benefit? Like I assume you're working with a target group, not just everybody who wants to speak, but who are you trying to move on?
This is really interesting because people have this perception that to be a TED speaker, you have to be already a professional speaker. And that is not the case at all. In fact, in some ways, what TED really loves to encourage is brand new speakers, people that have not necessarily been on the stage, or even they've only had some experience speaking, because they want you to be able to share a story from a place of vulnerability. Yeah. Some of the best TED Talks are those where the speaker is actually shown how vulnerable they are. They've shown their emotions. And in fact, even some of on the TEDx, most popular standing ovation speeches have been ones where the speaker's actually been noticeably nervous. And the audience has been, really inspired by the fact that that person has had the courage to come on the stage and tell their story. But in order to get on the TED stage, that's what I'm doing in this workshop, is I'm actually helping people to really zone in on their story, because you can't just tell a story. We all have interesting stories, but the thing with TED is it has to be an idea. It's an idea. It is an idea that might be wrapped in a story, or it's an idea that may be demonstrated with a story, but it is the idea that matters. And it has to be a universal idea that anyone in the audience can take in that concept, put it in, from their point of view, from their perspective, in their language, and then for them to be curious and want to continue that conversation. Right? So just when I went through that whole experience with TED, I was just like, wow, this is what makes TED so fascinating and so interesting, because I'm sure you've been to many speaking events, Marilyn, where you just look at the speakers and you go, well, that's great, thank you, it's wonderful to hear your story, but so what? So what? What's in it for me? Why, what's my takeaway from this?
I think it's more than that. I think when they're too practiced, I don't feel the reality of it. I just find the more you speak, the more you become a good speaker, the less I seem to emotionally connect with you. And I think it's I know a few, and I think it's a rare professional speaker that can step back from the training and be very real on stage and engaging. There's techniques to get the audience's attention. There's the intro, and this. As soon as I hear the practiced intro, and usually starts with, "I really want to thank."
Yes.
If I hear that one more time, it's not that it just never feels real. It feels like an opening sentence, like once upon a time. So I think that's my thing. I just find most of the time the speakers are so practiced that I'm not connecting with them emotionally. And if I don't connect emotionally, then it's like a school lesson.
And
It's not that they're not saying good things. Sometimes I come away with great things, but I feel like I'm in school instead of in a room alone with them. And
Right.
some speakers make the audience around me disappear, and I feel they're talking to me.
And that is exactly what TED wants.
Yes.
TED wants a speaker to be very conversational, to be very vulnerable, and to make the audience feel like you're around a dinner table and you're having a conversation with the people around the dinner table. And so you're absolutely right, is like the perception of, when we think of being a TED speaker, we think, oh, we have to be so polished and, you know, to be on TED. But the reality is actually exactly the opposite. TED is a beautiful platform for brand new speakers. Yeah. So when I look at, you know, some of the people I help with their books, they are absolutely primed to be a TED speaker because they haven't been, like you say, they haven't been spoiled by all that polishing and stuff that actually makes them all so perfect that then, you know, we don't want to. So so really what I'm doing in this one-day workshop is helping people to understand how to pitch, so how to fill in the application for TED to actually get picked for a TED Talk. Also understanding not only, you know, how to do the application, but where to actually go. Because each TED Talk has a theme. So you have to fit within their theme. And that might mean that you have to travel a little bit further. But, you know, I've got the lists of all the talks with all of the application processes and all of the themes. And so then we can match you, you know, find out what your pitch is, what is your idea that's worth spreading, and then how do we matchmake you with the right TED application.
I would think finding the right TED Talks to go to is important, because once you've been on the stage, it's going to be a while before you get selected again. Like it's not like you go every week on TED Talks.
No, but you can have multiple
if you
times
travel to
on
other
TED.
areas.
You can, absolutely. I mean, there's no restriction, you know, once you've done it, that's it, no more TED Talks. I mean, in fact, that's how speakers tend to get picked for the big TED conference. Right.
But they're in the smaller ones, and then they get picked for bigger ones. So, I think the other thing that I always wonder about speakers now and TED Talks as well is that I think we all have the perception you have to have a sad story to tell and a crisis, and be somebody who came from incredible odds to achieve. And are there room for happy stories? Are there room for, like, do you know what I mean? We talked about this before, is that 99% of the time somebody presents something heartbreaking or tragic, and how they came in the life lesson, it seems to be quite what is done in speeches nowadays. So is that true, or is it what is?
That's why you don't see that many those types of talks on TED, because TED are always focusing on the idea as opposed to the personal story. So when you're focusing on the idea, it's like, well, what is the purpose of telling this story? So it might just be simply, for example, that you're highlighting a community that not many people know about, right? So it might be that during your world travels, you've observed a lifestyle of the Masai Mara, right? And so then you want to highlight the benefits of, you know, living in this type of community, and then learn a lesson from that observation. So, and if it is a personal story, it's a personal story that's actually related to an idea. So, for example, my TED Talk was about the subject of dyslexia. And what my idea worth spreading was that dyslexia is actually a gift as opposed to a disability. So you can see that I use myself and my own example as the story, but my idea, the way I framed the talk, was around that premise of can we look at dyslexia in a different way?
I liked your closing line.
Yes.
Do you remember it?
I do.
I would like her to share it, because I think one of the things that made her talk so powerful was the idea that she was sharing was perfectly encapsulated in her final line.
So dyslexia is not a learning disability, but it's actually a teaching disability.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the whole audience went quiet.
Yes.
Okay, so right now you have what? Do you have one coming up shortly?
I do, yes. In fact, on February the 4th.
Okay.
And we do still have some space.
Okay.
And we have a special introductory price as well. So it's, it's a really good price for the day. And you can get information if you go to InspireAbook.com.
Yep.
And then just click on the tab under workshops. And there is actually a tab that says InspireATalk.
InspireATalk. Okay.
Yes.
Will these be webinars in the future?
They most certainly will.
Okay. But this is the first class, and then they're going to move into webinars.
Absolutely. So we're going to do this as a live class, and in the future we will have some other live classes, but the goal is to take this online and to make it an online class.
So for those who haven't seen the other videos, one of the really important things to understand, and the reason the webinars work for Inspire Books, is they have found a format that's interactive, so everybody can see everybody's photos. It's not muted. You can talk. You have real-time conversations with the other people in the group. For the webinars in particular where they're writing books, there's a support Facebook grouping. So this isn't a webinar that you would just listen to. This is a webinar that you will see the other members, you'll interact, you'll be giving each other ideas. And that's very different. And it was important, I think, to understand when you say webinar, I think of just listening. This is extremely not only interactive, but you also see the people you're interacting with.
And, and that again fits with the whole process of every workshop I do is in this kind of mastermind format, where as a group we're helping one another. And it just makes for a very fun, interactive day as well. So, I'm excited.
You can find Inspire Book on Facebook, both Influence Publishing and Inspire Books. You can go to the InspireBook.com website to look up all the different webinars and live mastermind workshops. We also have a 4-part series that cover all the webinar mastermind workshops, and everything is there. So you can go to either other ones on my YouTube channel or on Julie Salisbury YouTube channel to check out the other videos. And I just want to thank all of you for joining us. Be sure and send Julie any questions you have, and I hope you'll check out one of these future workshops. Thank you so much.